British are throwing flying sharks at us. It's a shark and roll.
It's a time-nator. Let's do the time warp again.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor, someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with actor Patrick Laberto. He has a very small role as Caesar at the end of the movie when there's like this spinning throughout the world of time. You actually get LaToya Jackson as Cleopatra at the end of the movie. But Patrick, we've connected with him over Ghoulies Go to College. I called him Mook on Twitter. He did not like that because he's Mookie. But we talked summer school, Little House on the Prairie, Heathers. Man, the guy rocks. He was in so many great films, and he loves acting. So his acting school, you can find it on our website, sequelsonly.com. Online, you can check everything out, and he'll teach you from LA, from his home in LA. He could talk to you in Pigs Knuckle, Arkansas, wherever you are. But it did lead to us because we had to cover a sequel for him. We always want to do that. And it led to the Last Sharknado. I think Jamie just had a seizure on the other side, and the movie is what's it? It's About Time is the movie.
I when did the first one come out? Like 10 years ago? I lasted 10 years of not seeing one Sharknado. Like I thought I was going to be able to get past this series and never have to watch a Sharknado, and
You're
I was
welcome.
wrong. And a few things. One, I definitely think we found another contender for the top 5 worst movies I've ever seen. But 2, we also got another annoying character that our list just keeps growing.
Ooh, okay. So we'll get into that. So
Okay.
I'm going to, obviously we're going to talk about the movie. I'm not going to say my full feelings on the movie, but let me preface it with this. I'm on cough medicine because I think I might have some kind of flu kind of thing. I had COVID a month ago. I've just not been feeling well over the last month. But having said that, I enjoyed this movie. For me, not top five worst movies. The cameos, I could not believe the people they got. Not that I couldn't believe it, because they do movies like this, but I really enjoyed seeing these people. I'm like, oh my God, it's him?
Okay, first of all, were you on medication when you watched the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so that might have affected your feelings on the movie
sure.
itself. I'll tell you the two people that I liked in this movie. Right, one, Dee Snider crushed it. Like, I feel like
God, yes.
I feel like he, but his acting was very good. Like, his acting was very good. His role, first of all, he looks the same. Like, he just awesome. And I think the second person I thought was really good was the plastic surgeon for all the characters in the cameos that were in this movie, because I can't believe between Mark McGrath, Tori Spelling, Vivica A. Fox, Tara Reid, the amount of plastic surgery that they all had is ridiculous.
Tara Reid
That's all I'm going to say.
You know what? That was one that I could not believe. And then at the end of the movie, we get 1 million of her.
Okay. So, her acting, and she's not a great actress to begin with, but I feel like she almost acted in this movie as if she didn't want to be there. And she was the driest person in this whole movie, and we had to deal with 100 of her all at once. I would rather see 100 Dee Sniders than to see 100 of her. Okay. And I'm going to say this before we get into the movie, and we're going to get into it real soon. I understand what the whole Sharknado thing
Yeah.
is. I do get it, right? The first movie I never saw, but I understand it was a cult. They made a movie. It was bad. Everybody laughed and loved it. Fine. Okay. This is the sixth one. And I feel that like in the first one, and without even seeing it, they knew they had a bad movie, but you know what though? They tried to make the best of a bad movie. I feel like with this one, they're mocking the bad movie, knowing it's a bad movie, but trying to make it even a worse movie with the acting. And I think that's where it's like, all right, enough is enough. I get it. A sequel, maybe let's see if we could still ride the wave of fans. But to have 6 of them, who is this audience? Like, who is the audience that really wants to see this movie and sit back and enjoy it? Because I did not enjoy 1 second.
Yeah, so I only saw so one of the like references to the other movies is a part I remember from it. But from what I've read, this movie is kind of like a joke that somebody pitched this and someone said, I'm going to get that made. And they did. And they made this is the fourth one?
6th.
Oh,
it's
wow.
The 6th one. Okay? The 6th one. Why are people like Vivica A. Fox, who's a good actress?
She died
in
in 2. She
Like,
died in the. I remember watching the New York one because I remember the first one got like so people were talking about it. Everybody, my deli guy, he was like, "Yes, see Sharknado." I said, "Just make my sandwich."
I wished the movie died with her because I mean, this movie. Seriously, this movie. Okay, first of all, the concept. What's the plot of this movie? What's the plot of the movie?
Of this movie? Okay,
of this movie.
This is what I was like talking about just before we were gonna record. I was saying like, oh, do you remember the one part of this movie when Vivica A is talking to the Shermanator? There is a line that she says in this movie. She goes, "You have to save me." You have to go so you could save me, and then you could save your parents, and you could save someone else, and then you could save yourself. And I'm like, what did she just say?
Okay, right. Well, that's what I feel the whole movie is like. The movie does not make sense because the first thing you hear, and again, without seeing any of the other ones, first of all, I don't know how you have 6 movies based on the same exact concept every single time.
Fast and the Furious, they have 10.
Okay, I mean, like
now, so.
Okay, and I threw off 3 of them. So I mean, just to give you an idea, I mean, I put this in the same category as Fast and the Furious, and not to go off on a tangent a little bit, but the fact that the Son of the Mask got a lower score than this movie still baffles me because that's a bad movie, but this is a worse movie. So anyway, yes, okay. So this movie, right off the bat, this movie talks about the fact that the main plot of this movie is they have to go back in time to stop the first Sharknado, correct?
And I know exactly what you're going to say. Why when they kill him each time, they show up again, and then one of the places they go to, you don't see it, and then it comes back.
Well, but the fact that none of them should be if the concept is to stop the first one, and they stop the first one, the movie should be over. Like they should have ended on that part, not started. Like that should have been the ending scene. Like instead of going from the past to the future, they should have went from the future to the past. Because the first one is the one that starts them all. So the fact that they stopped it, but they still have Sharknadoes made absolutely no sense. I know, and in my head,
when they got to the next place and you saw it again, I was thinking they should have shown, like, when they're going through which we'll get into, how many times they must, like, people don't care if you steal their one-liners that are, like, legendary to a movie, but how many times that they end up going 88 miles per hour, they get away. They should have shown one shark, like maybe follow them into the next place. Because if not, it should be over.
Correct. That's it. So right off the bat, I'm like, all right. I mean, obviously the special effects are horrible, worse than I imagined. Like I knew I go into this movie. I knew it's gonna be a bad movie. I knew the acting was gonna be horrible. I knew the special effects were gonna be horrible. It was worse than I expected. I mean, it really was. But the fact that the plot right within 5 minutes does not make sense. the rest of the movie, I'm like, all right, now I gotta suffer through this. And I did.
Good.
I suffered through it.
I would love to play it. There should be like a drinking game. You know when they have those photos and it's like name the movies that each of these little things of the photo are from. Like you have like Freddy's gloves hanging. And this movie has so many. And here's the first clip that I have to show is because it's the beginning of the movie, which I know I didn't watch a trailer to this at all. So when we open up in with the knockoff Princess Leia, this is like Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. Like the same look, it looked better in Star Wars in 1977.
It did.
And just the thing, he goes, here's this thing you have to wear. It's pre-programmed to take you to the first 88 miles an hour, and then you can go the speed.
This movie doesn't waste time jumping right in. So if you've never seen any of them, like I haven't, you have no idea what's going on. Like, did the other movie end on this scene?
I hope not.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay. Okay. I mean, okay. This is the first 2 minutes of the movie. I'm already hating it more than anything else just by what we just saw right there. Like, just watch it, not even knowing the plot, not knowing anything. I'm already like, I can't believe I have an hour and a half of this. And sure enough, I had
the dinosaurs look like a Sci-Fi Channel movie. Like this movie had like $2 million budget. That's
it is a sci-fi.
It is a
Sci-Fi
when
Channel
I think
movie?
of a movie that's on Sci-Fi, like I know this is from there, but I think of when I was a kid, and you'd even watch like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's like Jurassic Park, like when he had the Jurassic things. That's what it looked like. It looked like this, and I'm like, wow.
Oh, it's so bad. It really is. It just, and not for nothing. This is a Sharknado movie, and I know we see a quick few Sharknados, but I feel like it's more of a time traveling movie than a Sharknado movie. Like there's a lot more stuff outside of the Sharknado stuff than there are Sharknados. And there's like too much serious stuff in this movie. Like some of it, like they're really trying to act. And when you get to the point, like midway in the movie of a really crappy movie, and now you're trying to act, like take it serious.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to capture campiness. It's like in, but you're right. They're really trying to act. But like in Samurai Cop 2, when they have the serious scene with Joe, and you're like, okay, this guy, we know that. I think his name is Joe. I don't know if I'm mixing Joe Armstrong from American Ninja 2. But no, in that movie, he has like the serious scene, but you're like, there can't be being serious. This movie, when she talks about when not Miley Cyrus Nova, when she says, I need to save my grandpa Peter Brady, like, what?
Yeah, okay. There's so many things that don't make sense with this movie because she's not allowed to do that, but Ian Ziering, whatever his name is, could keep following his son. The son could talk to Vivica Fox without affecting anything, but she can't save her
grandfather. She says that, and he even is like, I know, but it's for the better. I'm like, what? This isn't for the greater good.
No, it's. Oh, and then you had Zach Galifianakis guy.
Oh, champion of the world, Judah Freelander. I like that guy.
he was funny, but like. There's a part of him in this movie that makes.
Are you talking about when he
sense.
says "yabba dabba do" when he has the giant baseball bat?
No, I was gonna say when he turns into a black woman, and it was kind of funny. They kind of did that in Jumanji, the newer Jumanji. It's kind of funny. I thought it was gonna be a running joke, like every time he traveled, he returns to something else, right? No, he just goes back to his normal self. Like that was
happened. What's her name? Nicole. I have her name here from Mad TV. She was great on Mad TV.
Yeah, but it didn't make. Yeah, but it didn't make sense. Like, what if you're gonna change him to someone else one time and then go back to normal the rest of the movie? What was the point of that? It's almost like he wasn't around. He wasn't around on the set that day, so they needed a stand-in.
No, but that would be a great running joke, and just to get her name right because she's amazing, Deborah Wilson.
Right,
but no, the fact that because we didn't see the other ones, I knew Vivica Fox died. I knew her ending in the New York one. She sacrificed herself, Sky, And I remember that. Like, I definitely remember that. But when he talks about when Ian Ziering, Finn, which the fact that his name's Finn and it's Sharknado,
I didn't even think about that. Oh my goodness. Now I hate it even more.
There's all the nicknames. How about Nova? When Peter Brady goes, you're too big for whatever her name was. Her real name was like, I don't know, Jessica or something. She's like, your name should be Nova because you shine bright like a star. I'm like, okay, come on.
Oh, who is she? Because to me, she was one of the brighter spots.
I don't know. I didn't look her up, but yeah, she had a familiar face. I could see her being like, I don't know if she was on an MTV show, but she has that look like she was on a reality show or something.
Well, she looked like she didn't have any plastic surgery, so she looked normal. I mean, to me, I feel like when Gary Busey shows his face and he looks more normal than half the characters that had all this plastic surgery, there's a problem.
Gary Busey.
I see. I would have rather seen 100 Gary Buseys at the end instead of Tara Reid. And now that would have been a good, like,
that would have been good.
twist.
I have to tell this story because I think I was going to tell you anyway. But Gary Busey in the 70s used to do sketch comedy on a public access show in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Well, we're talking about Gary Busey, who won an Oscar, at that time.
Well,
right?
in the 80s when he started acting, he won an Oscar, but yeah.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. So, like, this is pre Gary Busey now.
Well, motorcycle accident. The guy's brain was like on the ground.
Yeah, correct. It was, but they scrambled it back together and they put it back in his head, and now we got a great Gary Busey, almost a better one.
But no, the reason I know that Bill Hader said that in an interview that he was inspired by the sketch comedy that Gary Busey did in the 70s to get into sketch.
That's amazing. That's amazing because, I mean, you know what? You would never think, if you watch his earlier stuff, you would never think that. Like, he was in so many good things.
Insane. He used to just get high and he used to do these sketches. But no, I had to mention that. But no, his part at the end of the movie, the people that are in the end of the movie is quite something. But no, so let's get back to, he does Yabba Dabba Doo. And then we find out all the other people that are there in that scene that blow Finn away are the fact that they're all dead. All of those people died in other movies.
Okay. So how does that happen? Like, so how do they all wind up on the same planet? Or say
Gil,
back in time?
Holy shit. His son's name is Gil.
This is a Rip Torn situation going on right now. I never realized that oh my goodness.
It would have been even worse if I was really hoping, I was just remember Tara Reid's name. Her name's April. So no. That's not a shark part. But no, so Gil, Shermanator at one point, which now he has blonde hair, which is kind of weird.
Okay, well, which, by the way, I don't care what you say. You look at him, he's always going to be the Shermanator. No matter what he's in. I don't care if he's doing a dramatic role. He's always going to be the Shermanator. He wins the
Oscar. Jamie's in the back. Shermanator! And he's like, thanks, buddy. But no, so the Shermanator is his son at one point in this movie because there's different iterations, which is kind of weird. The aging of the Gil and that going against the opposite. But they say that Gil saved us and brought us here. So he went around time, saved them just before they died, and brought them to the dinosaur. Because they've been living there for a while. They said they've been there for months.
Well, considering that Tara Reid knows how to fly a pterodactyl, I mean, I'm assuming that's more than months. Like, I would assume that if you're around during caveman time and you're able to train a pterodactyl, it's got to be years. Because I mean, I have dogs that I have dogs for years and they're still not trained. They still pee in the house. So I mean, to train a pterodactyl to be able to fly. Well,
not even that. The fact that she's able to ride it like a domesticated horse. The fact that she has it trained to hit rocks, like when you take a wiffle ball and you throw it in the air and you hit it with a wiffle ball bat. She can do that with a pterodactyl.
Well, she also has an outfit that I'm not sure where she got it from.
They got any of their outfits.
Okay, but let's go back to the concept. So the son saves them before death. He goes back in time and decides to bring them all to probably the most horrific time in human lives of living with dinosaurs. So I'm going to save you from death here, but you know what? I'm going to throw you in the middle of chaos with monsters. and now try to survive.
And then I think even to more of a point to what the movie really should have been, that they think that, and maybe Gil says we have to destroy the first Sharknado and then it'll be done. What about after they kill the first Sharknado and then they time warp? Should they be like, okay, we're done? Wouldn't they be pissed right then? Like,
right.
Whoa, we did this for 4 months. We lived. I ate my own shit for 4 months trying to run away from dinosaurs.
Well,
and now I have to do this all again somewhere else.
What was the point of putting them there in the first
wait
place?
for Finn, which makes no sense. So you're telling me Finn gets there and then the Sharknado. I feel like this is one of those movies that the main character is the worst person, like almost Friday the 13th, Jason Lives. If the kid would have just let Jason be dead and not stick the stake in him, he wouldn't have got up and walked around.
Right.
In this, it's following Finn. The Sharknadoes, many people died in history because of Finn.
Okay, so the son clearly is able to time warp multiple times because he brings everybody. Okay, well that I don't know, and I mean obviously maybe they talk about it in
part
other
7
movies.
will cover that.
But okay, so if he literally is going out there to save these 3 people from death, and then put him again during the most dangerous time that humans have ever seen to wait for Finn. Why wouldn't he just take Finn and bring him there right away? Like, so, like, if he's able to do that, why not bring Finn there immediately? Like, I almost feel like he's like, all right, taking one, dropping him off, going back in the future, taking the other one, dropping him off, going back in the future, like, lining him up. Why did he wait for Finn?
This is the perfect Austin Powers scenario when Seth Green tells his Dr. Evil, why don't you just go back to when he's on the toilet and shoot him then? Exactly. Why wouldn't... I mean, he has a time machine that he can bring people to an exact time, have them dropped off all at the same time, so they're not waiting around 4 months that they can get eaten by a dinosaur. But the fact that Finn shows up and within seconds the Sharknado shows up, pretty funny. Like, what are the chances?
What are the odds of that? And so there's 2 time machines then? Because if Gil has one and Finn has one,
I guess so. Well, is it even a time machine? It's a time pin. It's a pin that you buy after you go through a gift shop.
It looks like those pins you get in an airplane, like the pilot who gives like the kids like a pin for the first flight. it just
and 88 miles an hour, which we'll talk about. One of the things they do. There's no friggin' way that they got 88 miles an hour in the.
In any of them, they didn't get 80 miles. It's just ridiculous. And their timing is impeccable. Like they're able to time everything perfectly, and they know when. And do they explain how the first Sharknado formed?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I guess they wouldn't know because it happened at a time millions upon millions a year before. Wouldn't they have said like what?
Wait. They would know because the whole point is going back and stopping it from happening. So wouldn't you go back in time before the first one happens? So you'll see it forming.
It seems like it just forms out of nowhere. Because why? Yeah, you're not exactly like. Do they have any science behind how this happens? No, it just happens.
So you're telling me the fans of this movie have watched 6 movies about Sharknadoes, not knowing how or why they started?
There's some Sharknado super fan listening right now, and they're like,
okay. So who is watching? Seriously, what's the fan base for this movie? I mean, I get the first one. I get the second one, right? It's a sequel. Everybody loves sequels. That's why we're doing what we do. Who's watching the 6th one at this point? Like at a certain point, you have to say, all right, we've seen these Sharknadoes, the same story over and over again. We got to stop the Sharknadoes. Like nothing. Who's watching this? Like, what's the fan base? I really don't. I don't know. Who
I'm
going
to say, and I know you don't like this movie, but if I had to choose anyone to watch, this is the one. I don't know what the other ones are. I don't want to test the waters. Pun intended. But we'll get to some of the scenes that really did make me laugh. There was people in this movie I really did enjoy seeing. So I'm like, that guy.
Yeah, no. All right. Did you have a character here that you did not like at all?
In the movie that I didn't. Oh, you know what? I really thought they missed the boat, and I hope he's not listening. Missed the boat, another pun. Boom. I would say Billy the Kid. Really? The guy that played Billy the Kid should have been somebody famous named Billy, or it should have been somebody. That guy, it was such a important part.
It was an important part, but then something happens that, again, would have changed history.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll talk about that. So, I mean, but there was no character that you thought was annoying that you did not like.
Tara.
Well, yeah, well, okay. So I don't think she was annoying, and she just didn't act like she was just, she did not want to be there. I hated the villain.
The drag queen.
Bye. Oh, like to me that first of all, did they have drag queens back then?
I don't know if they did.
Like I would think they didn't, but if they did, I don't know. They don't explain. I mean, all right, never mind. Let's get to where
we're pretty. Well, so we got really to the next part, like where they were in a time warp because they were hitting the meteors. That's what was happening. They weren't hitting rocks. Meteors were coming down from the sky, getting ready to destroy the dinosaurs. That's when the Sharknado shows up. That's when the pterodactyl is hitting the meteors into the Sharknado.
Well, I think this is around the same time we get our first pun about Sharknados, because this one was, I guess, or they somehow coming up to a time.
Yeah, he says time NATO, like I put in the intro, and then he says 88 miles an hour was already mentioned. I really think that's a rip of Princess Leia. So I would say this is the third one, maybe, because he says, "Let's do the time warp again."
Yes,
Tom Hart. If Tom Hart listened to this podcast, he'd like this movie just for that line. And then you get like the Saturday morning cartoon Batman-ish intro, like
I just feel like they're forcing, like it's like one thing after another. Like I really almost feel like there's no script. I would love to know how long it took to make this movie, because it's just bad. It's worse than I really imagined.
There's a part in this movie. It's obviously they used the same set, which I thought was pretty funny when they went from one to another. And all they did was change the sign on the building, like to just change whatever business it was. But there was one part that they had the people on set. And then there was another part where they had to maybe do a reshoot when they were running from the sharks in the Old West. And the girls were running. They were like extras, but they were running and they were almost walking on the building. Like the green screen was like the way they filmed it on an angle. It was so silly.
Oh, that's all right. All right.
Ridiculous. So then they landed. We see, like I mentioned, Mad TV legend, Deborah Wilson. And then, dude, you ready for this one? Do you remember Winter, who was helping them out?
Winter,
like the medieval times, the older woman that was helping.
Yeah.
Another sequel person that we've covered before. Death Wish 3. Our buddy Joe. I have, if you're watching that video, he's right here. Joe Gonzalez Rodriguez from Death Wish 3. His wife Maria, who after that movie, she went on to be on Star Trek: The Next Generation and so much more. Marina Sirtis. She plays Winter in this movie.
Was this at the end of her career or in the
Well, her career's still going on. She's still in it. I think she's in the newer iterations of Star Trek that are coming out. But hey, it's a check. You get to work with people that you might like.
Okay. So I think the budget for this movie is like $2 million.
They shot it so short. Like that's why the money probably gets spread around.
Right. So how much money you think they made? All these cameos. Like I would love to know. Like.
No, more than that, because they probably maybe the main people got paid. We think of these big budget movies where people are making $10 million, but they're there for the whole time. This movie, because it's shot on a soundstage and at a beach and at a studio. That's all the movie is.
Well, that's why I think that the guy who looks like Zach Galifianakis wasn't on set that day, because that's why the Deborah Wilson had to come in. Because that should have been a running joke that every time that he went to the Old West after that, he's like a baby. And then maybe, he goes to somewhere else and he's like an Asian or an Indian guy. Or like it would have been funny if that happened, but it didn't. Like he stayed the same for the next 3 jumps. So what was the point of turning him into a black woman? Like outside of him being absent that day and they had a film, that's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, because on the next jump, something happened to somebody's clothes. And I thought that was going to be a running thing for everyone. But no, you're right. That would have been really funny. Like, that would definitely miss there. But we did get Neil deGrasse Tyson in this movie as Merlin.
Who is he? Because
he learned from Cosmos. What's his name? Who was the guy in the 70s? The famous that had that show in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. No, he's that guy. He's a big astronomer.
I remember the name, and I was like, I'm like, because when I looked up the credits, I'm like, all right, I totally know that name, but I was like, but what do I know him from? And I couldn't think of it. There you go. Now I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is
and he's Merlin.
He
like,
is, yeah.
Wherever you ever like, I don't care who you are. If you mention Merlin to anybody, you're thinking long white beard. You think of Gandalf.
Old white guy. Yeah.
You think of Gandalf.
Yeah.
You know. You don't think of a black guy. Like, I mean, that was kind of funny. I guess, I mean, like, it was like, all right, this is not what you expect, but all right, let me be Merlin.
Yeah, let me be Merlin. And then this is the first time that we saw that is like just missing them. So he timed this all out and he's just going to miss all these people because they're like, oh, your son Gil, he's going that way. And he's going on a ship, like an old Viking ship, medieval ship, towards the Sharknado.
So then what was Gil doing there?
I don't know. That's what I don't understand. If he's looking for his parents, which Vivica Fox says later in the movie, she goes, oh, he has to keep searching for you. And then I'm like, they're right there.
Okay. All right.
He knows where they are, I'm sure.
Okay. So hold on. So he knows how to go to people that just die, get there right before they die.
Yes. Okay.
But he can't find his parents. How is he finding anyone else?
I don't understand that. That's what made no sense when she said that line. And then here's the next part because I had to do this clip. Because do you think? Can you guess what it is?
Is it? Well, is it with what's her name? The Magina, whatever.
No.
What's in that bag?
Oh, the head. Oh my goodness!
Unhealthy obsession with that bag ever since we destroyed.
Weird, man. When he was touching the bag and it started talking, I'm like, what is in there?
But, you know what's funny? I think the head looks better than the actual.
Yeah.
Seriously, like.
You're in love with a robot head.
Okay. I mean, again, I don't know the story of. So okay, so in the Sharknado universe, he's married to Tara Reid, and the Shermanator is his son. Right?
Yes.
Okay. But somehow Tara Reid dies somewhere and he somehow gets a robot that's a replica of Tara Reid. Yes. So is that his new wife? Is the robot his wife?
Oh, he uses it. He has.
Is that how it broke?
That's how, yeah. No, here's a question I have to have that I don't know when the fifth one takes place, like what time period, but how do they know they're having a kid? Because we find out pregnant.
Wait, he's having a kid with a robot?
No, he's having a kid with Tara Reid, like April. At the end of the movie, she's pregnant, and that's Gil.
Oh, wait, she's pregnant in the fifth one?
She's pregnant at the end of the sixth one. At the end of this movie, I never saw the fifth one. At the end of this movie, she's pregnant, and they're like, and we're gonna name him Gil. And I'm like, wait, how did they know that his future son was coming back in time and helping them?
Okay, so wait, hold on.
Yeah.
So the end of the movie when they're all at the bar, did they get a Men in Black memory erase? And they don't. Are they acting as nothing happened?
They are as nothing happened, but I guess because they must know that happened because they went back in time.
But they were
their present time.
Yes, but they were acting like it was a normal day, like nothing happened.
Yep. And
so they
picking up and moving to Kansas.
Yeah. So in in movie universe, nothing happened, and they don't know what happened, and everything that we just saw, they don't remember. But somehow they remember everything else in the movie while the movie's going on. So
it seemed that way.
Right. So at what point did their minds get erased?
I don't know. I didn't even know they had other kids. They have older kids. I don't know if it's it's their kids together.
Okay. So again, is one of the kids through with the robot? Like the robot is play because he acts like he loves this robot the whole movie, right? I mean, it really does, and he kisses the robot at the end of the movie.
He does kiss the robot, but April died in his mind. She died at one point, so I don't know how far. I don't know what movie she died.
But she also died. She died again in this movie too.
Yeah,
and he quickly went right back to the robot. So right. So that's my question. So, like, does he have a relationship with the robot?
I think he does, and I think the robot, and then the robot's dad is the Happy Birthday from Rocky IV.
Well, what if the robot's pregnant? What if we find out that that's not Tara Reid? It's actually the robot that's pregnant at the end of the movie.
That would have been a funny ending if it turned or something,
and the lights you see the laser No, you see the laser in the eyes. Like you see like a little glitter. Like see, okay, these little things will change the movie. If they just did little tweaks, it's a much better movie.
Oscar nominated. If those tweaks, it's getting nominated for an Oscar. No, but that would have been really funny because it made the wink and nod at the audience like,
yep,
this is the robot.
Yeah. And that could lead to a part 7.
You're putting it out there.
Well, I mean, I'll just tell you right now, we're not doing it. So I had my quota. I waited 10 years. I had my quota. 1 was enough.
And you nailed it.
Enough. I nailed it.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Okay. So then we get more Donna. So somehow she uses her magic on the shark, but she'll only use it if they give her Excalibur.
Oh, okay. So that whole scene with the sword thing was ridiculous. And yes, but somehow Ian or Finn is able to do it. So
how is he able to do it? I know.
So he's King Arthur. So like if this movie is basing it on history, which they go through history throughout the whole movie, how is he able to take that sword out?
I don't know. And the fact do it like it's nothing. There's a lot of movie like he's an expert. Like we didn't even talk about it. I don't want to talk about it a lot to go back, but how about his weapon that he had? Did he have it was a wrench on the end of a stick.
Yeah. No, but you would think after 6 Sharknados, I mean, look at The Walking Dead. I mean, the way they started to the weapons they have now, I mean, one guy in Walking Dead has his arm got chopped off, so now he has a hand that has a mace on it. Like, where are they getting that from?
Holy
like, it's
shit.
his hand is a mace. That's what his hand is. It's a glove.
That's
Ridiculous. Right. So, like, I get it. Listen, you made 6 movies. You figure out the weapons. Fine. I'm more okay with that than to say that like. No, actually, I'm not okay with it.
No, I'm not okay with it. So at this point, this is when they sort of like escape. Like Winter helps them out, and then they have to dress in the clothes of that time. And Donna turned the Sharknado into Dragon Sharks.
Now, does this happen in other movies that we have different kinds of sharks?
No, I don't.
Because we have
time traveling, I guess. So they have to have dragon sharks.
We have so many different sharks in this movie. It's ridiculous. Like, I mean, yeah, okay.
Did you have any laughs? I know this movie you don't like, but was there any times that you laughed, but in a sense of like, I can't believe this has happened? There was a lot of times I said those words. Like the next scene, I'm not even kidding. When he started being the sharks. I was like, okay, what is happening?
I first of all, I feel like the sharks get hit and fly around like as if they were like a balloon, like because they hit him pretty lightly, and this flux go. That these sharks are huge, so like, are they like real sharks or are they like balloony sharks? Because they like literally they can hit them like lightly and they go flying back.
Oh,
like, they're not that tough, and like. Again, I would respect the movie a little bit more if it was a little bit more violent. Like I feel like the sharks don't do that much damage. Once in a while you see a guy with missing an arm and all that, and that's it. But it's really like it's about them hitting the sharks away.
Yeah, and hitting them, and it's so bad timed.
Oh.
Like the way. No, but they are filled with balloons. They're definitely because there's one. I think it's a mom on the beach in that scene. I don't know if it's part of the little clip that I did, but when we get to that, she hits it and it flies away so far, and I'm like, that's not how that would work. It would get
so
hit
easy.
and not move.
Yeah, and so easy. Like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem that terrifying, to be honest with you. The way they're able to get rid of these sharks, it's not as horrible as you would think. Like, you hear Sharknado, I'm thinking like, all right, these things are going to be pretty badass, but they really weren't.
No, it's like you just call it an exterminator, roll up a new.
That's really what it is. It's like they act like when you see like all the gnats around a light outside. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
They really don't put a lot of damage into it. They're just annoying. That kind of thing. I'd be curious, like, how that conversation came up around the table of, all right, we're going to make a ridiculous movie about a tornado that has like just flying something in there. Like what are we going to put in there? Like, I wonder if they said like turtles. No, turtles are not scary enough. Let's, what else can we put in there? Like, how did they come up with sharks? Like,
I don't know.
Like, that's such a weird, like, whoever thought of that is just like, I mean, pretty creative, but I just don't know how they came up with it.
What other animals would you rather see in a tornado? I think that's like alligators would be scary, I guess, or dinosaur tornado.
How about an elephant?
Elephant tornado?
No, I would almost like a piranha tornado. I think is better because they're smaller. Like they can come in like waves, but like a shark, they're huge. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like seeing them flying around is so ridiculous. Like, I don't know.
Well, don't worry. Next, in 2 weeks, you'll have a flying piranhas in that one. Wait. But no. So then we get. So this is what makes no sense. So all the sharks get electrocuted. Okay, except the one. That's the one that takes out Morgana.
Correct. So you're but okay. So but they use each Sharknado to escape every time, right? Pretty much, they have to go into the Sharknado.
Well, no, they don't. No, they just have to go 88 miles an hour, like in any direction, because no, they don't have to go into one. It seems like sometimes this one they sort of go into it because Tara Reid's robot head, April's robot head, starts shooting lasers at this point and kills all of them except one of them, and that's the one that eats Morgana.
No, but they go into multiple of the tornadoes. I thought that's how I literally thought they went inside every tornado on every decade or whatever century.
Not all of them, because one, they're not going in maybe a couple of them, but I know two of them that they don't. That's the ones that are burned into my brain.
Okay.
When they're on the train, that one they're not going at a Sharknado.
All right, I guess.
And when they're actually riding on a shark, they're not going.
Oh my goodness, I can't. All right, all right.
So, but how do they get out of this one? How do they end up going? Because her dragon got hurt, so they need to sit on a catapult, and Merlin helps them out, and then
what was that pot for?
Cooking people. Because when they land, I laughed my ass off because I'm like, wait, they landed softly into this new world and come out of this pot like a witch's pot for cooking children.
That's what it looked like with a cover. Like, first of all, I don't think any of the witches' pots had a cover. Like, I don't think they had covers back then. It's usually like a big, boiling pot,
Yeah.
But the fact that it fit everybody in there, and it was. Somehow no one was hurt at all, and when they land, no one seems that surprised.
No, this happens all the time. Everything happens every time that we see a Sharknado or anything. No one is shocked. Maybe they'll say a line like, "Hey, what the hell's happened in my town?" Everybody else is just like, "I gotta go home. I still gotta go to work."
Yeah. It's just like, I know. But
did you notice the sign of the one restaurant that there was? I forgot to write down every name of the one store. Same set they used like 3 times in a row. But when they landed, the restaurant or the store right next to them said "Best Buffet in Town."
Oh, so stupid.
The British are coming. We get Paul Revere. The British are coming. The sharks are coming. And then he changes to that. And dude, they get arrested. And we meet Benjamin Franklin. And you can't say that you did not enjoy Leslie Jordan, another Good, the Bad, and the Sequel alum, because he gets killed by Jason in the body and Jason Goes to Hell.
He's so over the top. I mean, like, yes. I mean, you know what? But okay. But to me, that's not a Sharknado. That's a role he plays so well all the time. And so, like, yeah, I mean, first of all, the fact that they had Ben Franklin act like that was pretty funny. Like, yes, and then you have Parnell basically playing Bill Clinton because he sounded like Bill Clinton.
Well, that was not Parnell. That was Daryl Hammond.
Oh, that's what I meant. I'm sorry, Daryl Hammond, who does Bill Clinton.
Oh, that's all he did.
And he sounded like Bill Clinton. So ridiculous.
Hey, Daryl, can you do George Washington? He's like, sure. And he just goes, and then when I saw the girl, she was an intern. Her name was Monica. It's like, oh, we said George Washington.
Wait, hold on. Was that your George Washington or Jerry Seinfeld?
Oh,
you sounded a little like Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, really? Ooh, that's a good one. What? And then who's Alexander Hamilton?
Oh, do you like him? Like, seriously,
I love
do you
Ben Stein.
See, I can't stand him because he's that one running joke that it just, to me, it's just like, it's just so too much in your face. Like, I it was funny in Ferris Bueller, and that's it. Yet he rode that monotone, a game show, the Son of the Mask. Like, he uses that everywhere. And Son of the Mask and this movie, he's in the bottom two movies of, like, all time.
Look at that. That's something to hang around. I love Win Ben Sides Money. That was Jimmy Kimmel. That was the start of Kimmel.
Yeah, but his monotone voice I can't take, and he wrote, like, I wonder if he really sounds like that. Like, in real life, does he have like a high voice? Like, and he sounds like Bobcat. Like, Bobcat doesn't sound like that all the time.
Gilbert, who's in this movie too. Same thing. They probably did something that worked, and
I guess. Ugh.
There's a good story about him and getting Ferris Bueller. Like, he was really just a professor, and something
in real
happened.
Life? You mean in real life? No, he looks like a smart guy, but just that
he is
voice.
Smart. If you ever watch the show, he never, When Ben Sides Money, the final round, he would like barely get any. So it's hard to beat him. Only he
had all the answers already. He already had all the answers. He had the answers every time. Come on, just like Alex Trebek when he, God bless his soul, but when Alex Trebek, like, almost like as annoyed when someone doesn't know the answer to something that he knows. Like, come on, you already knew it, so don't act like you knew it ahead of time. Come on.
You didn't know it was Latvia. I love that.
And he does it all the time. Like, he's such a smart ass. Like, he's like almost insulted that someone didn't know the most ridiculous, difficult question. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's Ben Stein too.
But no, so we do that. And how about there's two times in this movie they kind of use the same bit when they ask about the future. Like, oh, we'll believe you if you're from the future. And what he does in this one, well, Brian says, oh, in 240 years, people are going to love you. You're going to be rapping on Broadway. And then he pulls out I love Daryl Hammond, even though it was in Bill Clinton's voice. He goes, hey, you got one of these?
Okay, let's talk about the dollar for a second. Okay, because we do see a dollar later on that has Zach Galifianakis on it. A picture.
Yes.
Okay, and that doesn't come into play at all. It was like a brief. It was like a brief. Like, so again, obviously history was majorly changed. Majorly, if he's on the dollar bill, that's not addressed at all.
No, I know. Why did they do that?
And so, like, I mean, they clearly wanted us to see the dollar bill, and it's like, all right, so in the future, he was a president. Yeah. Was he at the bar at the end of the movie?
He was in the bar. No, he stayed. Oh, maybe he did do something in history. Why did they mention that? You're right.
That's what I'm saying. But so they showed you the dollar. So because he did stay. So they showed him the dollar. First of all, they're not concerned that He's so concerned. This poor girl wants to save her grandfather, who she keeps saying that raised me, and I really he meant so much to me. But it's okay to leave this guy behind, who by leaving behind is going to change everybody's life that he comes across. Like every single person's life that he comes across, he's going to change history. That's okay.
That's so true. Like, so what did he do? Did he become the first president?
He had to. He had to have, because the dollar wasn't made yet, and so George Washington, doesn't he die on the boat by the shark? He was on the No, that was the. Oh, okay. So well, apparently George Washington dies because he doesn't become president, and Zach Galifianakis does.
Wow,
and it's not addressed at all. Like, it would have been funny, like at the bar, there's like a picture of like past president or something like that, and you see him in there or something, or just something to reference it. No, they just show you $1, and the dollar was like so brief when they showed it. Like, if you weren't paying attention, you missed it.
Yeah, or if they quoted like the never told a lie or chopping down the chair. Say, oh, that was George Washington. Like, no, that was Brian. So
right.
That would have been good.
Yeah,
but no,
see, again, another change.
Yeah, and Brian uses history knowledge because he says something else too in order to convince them to let them use the cannons. And then how about the cannons? This is where she remembers it's my great. We get that again, like in Mannequin 2. Nova, great grandfather is there.
You're gonna recognize him. You're gonna recognize your great when he's 20 years old. I don't think so.
The photos look like outlines from then. No, there weren't even cameras in that.
Yeah,
in the 1700s. No,
she would not recognize him. So that's ridiculous. Yeah, and she's interacting with him.
That hurts history.
That does hurt history. You know, it almost seemed like he was into her. This was a Back to the Future kind of thing.
Well, I guess they had to add that. They're like, all right, if we're going to use 88 miles an hour, can we use the almost incest?
Well, they used Doc Brown later on.
We did see him floating in the
which
sky.
That was okay. I like that second cameo. That was a good cameo. Was that really Christopher Lloyd though, or no?
No, I don't think.
See,
Christopher Lloyd, they would show his face, not spinning in the background.
Well, wasn't that where LaToya was?
She got a front and center for a few seconds. She was right there.
Honestly, I don't even remember it.
You're.
I was checked out about an hour and probably an hour and 30 minutes before that. I was checked out.
Oh my God. So then we get Benjamin Franklin. He punches a shark. They use the cannons to fire it and they electrify them.
Ridiculous.
Very ridiculous. Very ridiculous. And then even more ridiculous was Nova. At this point, she starts. They time jump next, right? She started the Sharknado Sisterhood.
Yeah, but you know, again, going back real quick before we even get that, where not one person there seemed disturbed seeing flying sharks.
No, not at all.
Not one. And again, I know we discussed it before, and I'm just thinking about it again. Like, even that scene when they're attacking the sharks, they're acting as if they're just attacking the enemy. Like, there was no concern. I mean, yeah, okay. All right. But yes,
and I blew this because Vivica wasn't even in the movie yet. She doesn't come till the next. But no, this part, so Nova somehow helps Ben Franklin. Not even Tara Reid helps Ben Franklin figure out. Oh, if you put the key on the end of it, and he's like, "Oh, thank you," and he goes, "Is this all I'm going to be remembered for in the history books?" And he's like,
What was that key for?
That's how he discovered electricity.
No, I understand it. Where did Tara Reid get it?
Oh, that was her key. I thought you just saw his key.
Oh no, I thought you handed him the key. Or okay, even his key. What was that? That key was massive. What was it opening?
His porn collection.
You know what? Ben Franklin in this movie looked like he would have a porn collection.
He would, yeah. A hidden thing.
He definitely was a creeper.
Total creeper. He yells, "Get away." What does he yell at the British? He says, like, "Get back, you ninnies." I love him.
He is very funny. My daughter wasn't listening to, didn't watch this movie, but she was cooking at a time, and she goes, "Did he just say ninnies?"
Oh. Would appreciate that. So then we get Brian stays, and then we get, I would say, the best scene of the movie. I would say Dee Snider, Twitter, he's great in everything. But when you watch like I love the 80s, I love the 90s,
Yep.
He's so good. He should be in more stuff. He's a better actor than Gene Simmons.
By far. You know what? In his scene, honestly, like if you didn't know this is a Sharknado movie, just watching his scenes and when the close up on him, he actually looked like he was acting well, like he did. Like you wouldn't know it was a Sharknado movie. Like I feel like I wish I saw him more in movies, like you said, because I think he's a good actor. He did a good job in a horrible situation,
and he sold the lines
he did.
Hearing the lines because he doesn't say. Somebody says to him, "You got to twist it, mister," but he says a line later, like, "Oh my god, that's so good." You're I believe him as the sheriff, trying to take down Billy the Kid. That's great when you watch a movie as campy as this is and what it's going for. When you see somebody you're like, I don't see Dee Snider. I see,
correct, and I could see him even when he was going after Finn. You can see, he was good. To me, he was the only bright spot in this movie. And
Leslie Jordan was pretty good.
All right, Leslie, he was number 2. Gary Busey's number 3.
Gary Busey, we'll talk about his line. It's so funny that we have to. We'll get to that. So then, so at this point, we see Shermanator. I know we mentioned him. He's Gil in this time period, which makes no sense the way Gil's aging, because when Gil in the beach sequence, he's like an old man wearing a Viking helmet. He's older. He's the same age as Finn is.
Why is he aging? But why is he aging? If he's time traveling as much as that other crew, why is he aging at all?
Unless there's multiple ones of him.
Could be. I'm glad, because I couldn't look at the Shermanator the whole movie, because I'm just thinking Terminator. So, but yeah. So, and you know what? I've been trying to get him on the podcast for the last couple of years. Now I know why.
What do you mean why? He's busy working.
I didn't think he was doing anything. I thought after American Pie, he was done.
We saw him in Dorm Days too, bud. We see him and stuff.
And he played a Shermanator in every movie. He was a Shermanator.
Well, no, in that, remember, that's what threw us off in Dorm Days too. He's the ladies' man. All the girls want him in that movie.
Yeah, I still saw him as a Shermanator. I see it as a Shermanator. No matter what. Listen, he has that look. I'm sorry, you can't take that away. He's the Shermanator.
He's sent from the future to make to have sex with one lucky girl, and Shannon Elizabeth in that great voice, she's like, "I'm lucky girl." Oh, the best, man. And then this is where he sees his son. He notices the same pin, which wouldn't he know what his dad looks like if he saved him at some point?
Okay, well, hold on a second. So he sees his son and recognizes his son. How old is Gil when he leaves? Since I didn't see the other movies, you didn't either. So I want to know, at what age was Gil when, I guess, Ian Ziering last saw him? Was he the shirt?
Yeah.
Was he the Shermanator?
Was he that old? No, because then Ian Ziering would have been that old. At this point, it seems like everything went to shit at the end of 5, because that's when, that's why his son in the future went back. I have no idea.
Why do I feel that we're gonna get someone from 5 just so we can understand 6?
And then we're gonna get somebody from 4 and 3 and 2 and just go back. No, because I don't get it either, because it seemed like the world was ending, I guess, at the end of 5. That's why he had to do this, but he must have done it when Sherman. I don't know when traveling Gil start, because Gil aged during the time travel.
Yeah, and was time traveling in all The Sharknados?
No. This is
Okay,
the only
so
one that has the time NATO.
Okay. So then I'm curious, at what age did he see Gil last before recognize him now as an adult?
Well, I think he doesn't know about him, really, because if you think about what he looks like, he looks the same when he owns that bar. When we see at the end of the movie, a Sharknado hits the bar, and it's like, oh, that's nothing. When the shark flies into the wall,
Right. Oh, there's so much that doesn't make sense in this movie.
There's sense, but then so Nova and Sky, they save Finn, so he sees Vivica back, and even Shermanator. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Why is Vivica Fox in the Old West?
Great question.
Like they really don't explain anything in this movie. They just they're throwing people in just to throw them in. Like there's no explanation if this whole, again, why they all were sent back to BC, and with dinosaurs. They don't really explain that except for meeting up with Finn. So then why is Vivica Fox? Why was she, if she died in present time, why is she in the Old West?
I'm going to tell you there's two reasons. Maybe maybe they were going to have somebody at E point in history. Maybe there was supposed to be somebody in Revolution that was going to be added on. But I'm going to say it couldn't work. She was busy on another project for a few weeks, and that's why. Because they probably, maybe we'll have her in the BC. She was filming she does a ton of those Lifetime movies, like with Rico Ross. They've been in a bunch of movies together. Maybe she wasn't available, and they're like, let's put her in the Old West. They moved the sticky note over to Old West,
which is why we have what's her face, Wilson, as in the other role, because the other guy was doing something else. So they're like, maybe the audience won't notice. So really nothing makes sense. They don't explain a thing in this movie.
No. And then again, the Sharknados, they show up randomly right at the same point. Like all hell's breaking loose because Billy the Kid is there and Dee Snider's. And you just get so much stuff happening at once because Miley Cyrus Nova, she has this blade that she can throw 50 yards and save from almost being hung.
Does she always have that?
I don't know. Shouldn't she have used it in the last place?
So I wonder, so she died in the past. Was that a weapon she had, or somehow in this movie because they wanted to give her a cool weapon? I wonder if people that are fans of this movie, if they're okay with all this stuff that makes absolutely no sense. But if they're trying to gain a new audience, they're losing the audience because they're not explaining anything at all. Why does she have that weapon? And how does she learn how to use it?
You want them to stop and then tell us real quick?
I want them to explain something, and they don't explain anything. Although it would make the movie another 25 minutes, which, you know what, it was already an hour and a half too long. So
yeah. Oh my God. And so this is the line that I've been talking about, and I couldn't find the clip. It was right here. So I guess at this point, Vivica comes over to Gil, and her line, she goes, I saved you so you can save me and you can save your parents. So if he can time travel, why? I don't understand it. I know obviously if he died here, then he wouldn't be alive in the future to save her. I get that, but I'm just like, why is he putting himself in these situations?
Why is he putting himself in situations? But then again, so he obviously saves her. We know that. Why is she in the Old West? She just appears out of nowhere, as if she's been living there forever. It would help if they explained, oh, you know what, I've been stuck here because when Gil saved me, I somehow landed here or something. Nothing
at all.
Nothing. And as a new viewer, I'm thinking all right, they just know her from the Old West somehow. I don't know. Yeah, it's just stupid.
And then you get your buddy in this movie, Murr. Murr is his name is Eastwood. He doesn't really have a name, but his name in the credits is Eastwood.
How weird. What, is he supposed to be Clint Eastwood?
No, his just name is Eastwood in the credits. It's not.
Oh,
like
okay,
anything
because
but
there's a lot of Eastwoods out there.
yeah, Mr.
Like,
out there.
of all the names you can pick, Eastwood, you're gonna tell me this? They're not. It's an Old West Clint Eastwood. You don't think they were trying to do something with that?
Well, no,
Was he
they
wearing-
were obviously doing that, and he had a line. He didn't have like a "Make My Day" line, but he did have a line before he gets killed by a shark.
Isn't it a weird cameo though? Like you have pretty like big names.
Arr.
Like you have a lot of big names in this movie, and then you have Murr from Impractical Jokers. Like it's just
Yeah,
okay.
and they're not owned. And this is before Impractical Jokers. It was like right when it got big. Right, what season are they on now? 9,
something like that. Right. So that's right before they got big. He listen. The fact that they're still making Impractical Jokers where people don't recognize him now, 9 seasons later. So who's going to recognize him in this movie? So like they're probably like, who's this guy? Like because I mean it was a pretty iconic death. Like so you would think like it's funnier if it was like Bob Barker, and like you have a big name that just dies. He's in there for 2 seconds and he dies. That's funny. Throwing like a nobody like Murr in there to say a line and then die should have went to a bigger like cameo.
You know what? That is so funny that the show's been on for so long, and the only reason they can do it is because people don't recognize them.
Yeah.
It's not saying people don't watch True TV because the show is super popular,
Right.
but the fact that they're going to get somebody from that show to do a cameo, and then people are going to be like, "Oh, that's the guy I saw walking around in Central Park." I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that makes unless like their studio's next door and they're like, all right, listen, another cameo didn't show up. We need you to come on set because I mean, like I can't imagine them saying, you know what we just got for a big death scene, Murr, and I can hear them all saying, "Who the hell is Murr?"
Bill Murray?
You got Bill Murray? No,
No,
not that Murr.
Brian Doyle Murray? No,
Even less famous than him. Eddie Murphy? Nope, no Eddie Murphy.
Oh my god! But no, that's the Murr of all people. But then, how'd you like that? Even though Dee Snider's in the movie, obviously they can't afford maybe to pay whoever owns the rights to his song, because there's a song that sounds like it during that last when he starts ripping out. You hear the beat of "We're Not Gonna Take It."
Yep,
but it's obviously legally can't be that.
Why? He's in the movie. Why? Well, wait. It's legally they can't use the song from the guy who's in the movie who sings.
Well, he might not know it. He might not own it. That's the only reason you can do it. Maybe like, we can't afford it. We just paid Murr.
Listen, can you name another member of Twisted Sister?
A name? Their names? No.
Yeah,
that's mostly most bands.
Right. He wrote those songs. He owns them. There's no way the bassist is like, nope. Sorry, you can't use that song. We own the rights to that one. I guarantee you it's his band. I mean, so that to me, they should have used a Twisted Sister song. That would have been great.
Well, I did love that he used the line, "I'm not gonna take this anymore."
I know. You know what? It would have been good if they had the guy that's in the videos. The guy that's always yelling. You remember the guy a pledge pin on your uniform? The guy from Animal House?
Well,
Niedermeyer.
He plays the dad in the We're Not Gonna Take It.
No, he's in. I think he's in both of them. I think he's I Want to Rock. I think he's in I Want to Rock also.
Oh, okay. He's great as the dad.
But he would have been great in this movie if they throw that with Dee Snider. That would have been great.
That'd been great if he shot Niedermeyer.
Listen, I'd rather see him than Murr.
Wow, Murr. Jamie, you love that show, and Murr is sad.
I love that show for what it is. I don't. To me, that was a missed opportunity to have a really funny cameo. Have someone really have like a Charlie Sheen. Do a 2-second scene, die by the shark, and only be in it for 2 seconds. That's funny. Murr, not so much.
But instead, we got the robot again. So I guess this might be the first time. Fever dream, maybe it's a cough medicine, because I feel like all the scenes, I remember each of the scenes that were happening. The eyes lasers, I thought they'd started in medieval times. They happen now. The eye lasers. We also get a Yippee-ki-yay line from Nova, and then also Sky for some quoting Dr. Seuss, one shark, two shark, blue shark, red shark. And I'm like, are we doing this?
They're doing it. And you're going to tell me Finn didn't know that the robot that he fell in love with could shoot lasers out of her eyes?
You know what? He might have used because that could happen. One of it sneezes. One of it sneezes. Then he's chopped in half.
What do you mean? Why? When you sneeze, you close your eyes. You don't sneeze with your eyes open. In fact, sneezing is protecting you. Like, if I knew, like, Cyclops, or someone's going to shoot me with their eye laser, I'd give them, like, sneezing powder. And this way, their eyes are always closed, and you're protected.
Have a pepper gun?
Have a pepper gun.
Pepper gun at his nose?
Every time that you see his eyes, like, start lighting up, all of a sudden he starts sneezing, and all right, they go back down. That's...
Oh, my God. That's amazing. And then we get to... So this is when they... and he even has his line. So maybe his family has a history of working on trains, or maybe he was a conductor in the first movie, like on the subway. But how about when he says, I know we get to the state 8 miles. I'll some of these cars. They're like, you can do that? And he goes, I don't even know what his last name is. If his last they say it a bunch in this movie. But anyway, he's like, well, my family knows how to do this. I'm like, what?
Yeah, his last name his name is Finn Locomotive. You didn't know that?
Finn Locomotive. Finn the tank engine. My name is Thomas.
You're gonna tell me a train that's going as fast as it is on the tracks, he's able to just lift that hook by hand and unhook the train?
Seagal couldn't do that in Under Siege 2.
Come on.
And you're telling me that hangs out at the Peach Pit is able to do this? Come on.
Ridiculous. And you didn't mention that Billy the Kid loses his arm.
Oh, my gosh.
Doesn't that change major history?
It does. And the fact that somehow it's still shooting, or the shark is biting the tendon that's firing it?
In Predator, Carl Weathers' arm is still shooting as well.
That is true. It still works. So, I guess it still works.
It still works. But it's Billy the Kid. He's known for like shootouts and all that, like all that stuff. And now he can't do that. So
can't do it.
Again, talking about changing history. What do they care? Why does he care so much when basically so far now, since they even started this trip, they've changed history so many times?
And a lot of innocent people have died. Think of the people that have died. Even in this town, there was Murr died, and even in the medieval, a ton of people died then too. All
right, hold on a second. So the concept of this movie is to stop the original Sharknado, which they do, and they still have Sharknados. But clearly, throughout time, there's been Sharknados. So one, they shouldn't have been surprised in the first movie when there was a Sharknado, because it's all been through history. And without seeing the first movie, I'm sure when they first saw one, they were surprised.
Of course.
But two, so many innocent people died because of the time travel. Probably almost more than Sharknado killed them, because you don't see too many Sharknado deaths. So who's the real villain here?
Oh, it's Finn. I wrote that down. Wherever place that he goes, he brings it with him. But just think about this. He doesn't want to let Nova help Grandpa Peter Brady, warn him about the sharks that are going to be out there, which is not even a Sharknado. It's a shark gang that is looking for them on the ship that day. He doesn't want her to save him, but these innocent people that dying, what if that's somebody down the family tree?
Correct.
Like Murr. What if Murr in the mid 1800s Old West? What if that's I don't know,
Finn's great uncle?
Yeah, or John F. Kennedy. What if that's John F. Kennedy's great?
Yeah.
And now he's not here.
No, he doesn't care. And do we know why Gil is looking for his parents?
Makes no sense. He should know where they are.
But why is he looking for them? Why is he good? And Finn knows that his son is looking for him, so he has a time machine too. Right? He's able to go to. So why isn't he like going to the point of where his son's looking for him so they all know where each other are?
Yeah, like when you're at the mall, hey, meet me at the Orange. We'll leave.
I mean, not for nothing.
Meet up point.
His son almost died in the Old West. He almost got hung. So, okay. All right. Now, if his son died in the Old West, but Finn goes back to the future, how does that affect the future? Because his son was never born in the first place. But he died in the Old West.
I don't know how that works timeline wise, because you're already born and you go back into. Well, no, I guess he would be. Oh no! What would happen is he would die. I guess I don't know. That's a good question.
Right. So, if there's any science fiction geeks that are listening to this right now, please let us know because
they just turned it off.
No,
but if you
they
did,
have nothing else to do. They have nothing else they're doing. They're listening.
We love you, science fiction D. But no, that makes no sense. And also, instead of doing this whole like go back in time thing, because the Sharknado hits one city, unless in the fifth one it causes the world to end. Why don't they just go on the news and warn the people in that city that, hey, I have information, I'm from the future, or they don't have to say that, but hey man, don't go to New York City on August 11th. That's it.
And clearly they know exactly where the Sharknado is going to hit. They
or
know
it's
every
following them. That's what makes no sense. So the next one, they go to this beach in the 1960s, and the Sharknado comes out of nowhere.
No, it's not the 60s. It's 90s, right?
No,
isn't that where Tori Spelling is?
No, it's not the 90s. That
was
like
Tori Spelling, right?
It wasn't really. It was Tori Spelling, but not Tori Spelling.
They were in high school together. They said.
Well, they made a corny joke. Somebody I went to high school with. But no, it's really your son. You're talking to your son in the future. Because the dad says, hey,
that's
Gil,
right.
that's a good name. Or no, Finn, that's a good name.
Finn. Oh, all right. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, but okay. So if the Sharknado is following them, what's the point of landing where they're landing then? I don't think the Sharknado's following them. I think they're going to where the Sharknados are. Because if it's following them, why are they landing in the Old West then?
Oh, I don't know.
And do they have control of the time machine? Because they end up in the future later on. Well,
yeah, no, they do because they are changing at points. Because obviously Nova changes to go to San Francisco, like to go out to see her grandpa on the boat. But yeah, I don't know the rhyme or reason of where they're going next because it seems like it's pre-programmed. Like this one, he goes,
yeah.
Oh, I know this, but song, do the shark, do.
Oh man,
the name of the band was epic. It was called We're Quint. The name of the band was Quint, like in Jaws.
See, now I think it would have been cool if they had like the Jaws boat with like a guy that looked like Hooper and like out there, like it's a Sharknado movie. You should have like a famous like. Good. You had all these cameos. You couldn't get him. He's not doing anything.
Who's not doing anything?
Dreyfus. Yeah. Is he still alive?
He's still alive.
All right, so that would have been a great cameo. Like even walking on the beach. Like let him walk on the beach. Like just something would hit wearing that stupid hat and the beard, and that would have been great.
And then just say, I'm out of here. Or something like that.
See, or finally get eaten by a shark and goes, he finally got me.
He finally got me. And he says hi to Quint when he's in there. Yeah, hey, Quint.
See, something. It's like, listen, I'm telling you, a couple of tweaks, and now we got a good movie.
Not this.
Thank you.
Can I ask you where they're getting the change of clothes from?
Oh, I don't know. They changed it. But this is the son walking into the water wearing a Viking helmet. But he's an old man. He's older.
Okay, wait a second.
Yeah.
Why is the son there acting like a person that he lives there?
I don't know. And why does the dad have a laser gun?
And no one questions that.
No
Why
one.
does
This is the funniest one. This is the funniest one where the shark is riding on the. This is the one that they fill with air.
Look how he barely swings that surfboard and the shark goes flying.
He hits a home run.
I hate this movie so much. I hate it.
God. But the end of this clip's very good because I think that I left Gilbert then. Oh, I took Gilbert. But yeah,
why
that whole
no one questions the 60s having a laser gun.
No one.
So really, this movie is we're just gonna do whatever we want. Everybody's gonna have these questions. We don't care. It's not gonna fit. It's not gonna look right. It's not gonna make sense. But we're still gonna do it anyway.
And they did it. And how about?
They did.
I thought until the end of the scene that was Luke, not Luke Perry, that guy. I can't think of his name.
I know what you're talking about.
He became a race car driver after.
Yeah, the other guy.
Yeah,
the other guy.
I wrote not Luke Perry, but no, I thought it was him. And then they showed him close up.
See, that would have been funny if they had kind of like a reunion of all the ones that are still around, and like somehow like as the people on the beach, like that would have been good.
Yeah, they were all around at this point. So I'm sure.
What are they doing? They're not working. They're all moms and dads at home, and that's it. Listen, Tori Spelling looked like such a mom. Like, she, her plastic surgery though.
Plastic surgery and a ton of makeup.
And you could see it so much. Like you really see her makeup. Like, so bad. That's her husband in real life, I think. Right?
Was that? Oh, I don't know.
Because
they got a lot of husbands. I don't know.
No, I thought it was because they made a comment like, "Oh yeah," and you guys fall in love or something like that. Because
that because that was like they were just dating. His parents were just dating.
He looked familiar. Like I bet you that was her husband. Like first of all, he looks a lot older than her. Like he definitely looked a lot older than her.
Loves love.
Whatever.
Anna Nicole Smith was really in love with that old man.
With a 90-year-old, he was 90. In a wheelchair. What? Yeah, that was real love. Love of money.
Love at first roll.
Oy. Holy cow.
Holy cow. Holy Sharknado. So then they not only have a laser gun, they have a super laser gun that they pull out of the stand on, and they destroyed the Sharknado.
So wouldn't that by destroying this one again, wouldn't that just stopped all the other ones? Like
exactly.
are all these Sharknados connected?
I guess not. No, they're not. They must not be. If we thought if Gil was under the assumption that, hey, if I kill this first one in dinosaur times, then and why didn't he kill it in itself?
I know. And again, why is Gil acting like he lives there? Like, oh yeah, he's going surfing. What? He's the whole movie. He's looking for his parents, but here he's hanging out surfing.
You know who it looked like? Just thinking that looked just like Danny Bonaducci, but it was not him. But he had very Bonaducci.
Okay, I'd be willing to bet there's 6 Sharknados that Danny Bonaducci's in one of them. I can see like I feel like the cameos in the first like 2 or 3 are probably great, and then they just got worse and worse. Because I feel these cameos are forced, and I feel like I think the first like 2 are like shocked, right? Because you have Hasselhoff was in one of them, right? I think he was in one of the first ones.
You're right. I think he might have been in it. Wait, the 5th one is called Global Swarming of Sharknado, but I don't. I'll keep looking it up. But when I googled it, there was a movie called Bigfoot with him and Barry Williams were both in that.
Oh,
funny.
I think Barry Williams is Greg, right?
Greg Brady. Yeah.
He's not Peter. Okay, I thought Peter Brady that we're gonna meet soon. I think he did a pretty good job. Like he's a pretty good actor.
Christopher Knight, no, he's a pretty good actor. Remember when he met his wife on the Surreal Life on VH1? He married that model.
Yeah. I remember that. But okay, wait. We're talking about acting, and you're talking about he's a good actor. Remember he met his wife on a reality show.
I really liked her. I was really jealous when
she was great. She was, but what does that have to do with his acting?
No, I think he did a good job as the grandpa. The only thing I didn't like as the grandpa that you would keep on a boat a note that he thought was from the Civil War, and then Nova corrects her grandpa by saying, no, it's the Revolutionary War. He's like, huh?
Okay. Finn rips that note up into like 10 different pieces.
Yeah.
And throws it on the dirt ground where there's tumbleweed flying around and all that. You're going to tell me that paper, you drop a piece of paper outside now, one piece, you can't catch it. It's like flying all over the place. You're going to tell me 10 pieces of paper just stayed right there for them to put together?
I didn't even think of that. That she wrote? Or was
yes.
that the note?
No, that was a note she wrote.
But she signed it from the guy that was there. Her great.
Right.
Holy shit!
So that's why it was all cut together. Right. So because remember when he rips it up, he throws it on the ground. They zoom in on it. So you knew you're going to see that later.
I knew put two and two together. No,
yeah.
I just was amazed that you keep a historical artifact on a boat where there's water all the time.
Well, that's the note he has. Okay. And again, how'd they put it together back then? They had Scotch tape?
Or they put it in a bag and they got passed along from history to history, and then until Scotch tape was invented, and then they can put it together.
It's so ridiculous. I don't think there's a point of this movie really at all that makes any sense whatsoever. Really, there's nothing. There's nothing. No, tell me one part that makes sense, because there isn't. There isn't.
The fact that the underlying plot of the movie
should have been over within 5 minutes.
Yeah,
the movie should have been over in 5 minutes based on the plot of the movie, killing the first tornado. So,
oh my god! So here's a scene that we talked about a bunch of times. So I'll go through pretty quick. But when Peter Brady, when she ends up changing the next destination, because it was supposed to be like Santa Monica, and she changed to San Francisco just to be able to see her grandpa and then tell him that, hey, be careful. But how about the doc from the Love Boat? Is the captain of the ship?
Yeah. Yeah. And okay. So one, she sees her younger self on this boat. So when her grandfather died by a shark attack on that boat, how did she survive?
So maybe that's her origin story. From that moment on, she trained to kill sharks.
But how did she? Because the boat sinks, right? That's how the sharks attack. So how'd she survive?
Well, do you remember what happened? So, do you remember the whole point of this thing? So, which is I hate about time travel movies. I really hate the movie. I really hate time travel movies, because when she takes the thing from Doc and she crashes it, and then she goes, "Oh my god!" This is after her and Finn had the argument about save him,
right?
And then he says, "Let's save him." She crashed it and she goes, "Oh no, I'm the reason that he died." So really, did he not die until she went back in time and did all that? I think that's what happened.
You know what? I didn't even know she said that. She said that?
I'm the reason that he dies. So really, he didn't die at all. Well, no, it makes no sense. I hate time travel movies.
I was going to say, you know what? Now I hate time travel movies now too. Thanks a lot. Because, so in reality, when that scene really happened, it didn't happen yet because she didn't go in the past. She had to wait for herself to go in the past to make that happen, to make that future happen. It's so stupid.
So in actuality, the first should have never happened because they got rid of the sharknados forever.
Oh man!
So they made a movie that discredits the entire franchise. Because in actuality, the time traveling always occurred. It really always occurred. So
you know what? This should have been the first movie, so they never made a movie after this.
Then we wouldn't have got to cover it.
And you know what? We would be better off.
But I was kind of shocked that Nova died. So you had all these sharks come, and
wait.
She gets.
You're shocked that she died again?
Yes.
She already died in a previous movie.
I didn't really see that. I just heard them say that in the beginning.
Okay, so you have to hear it to see it. Like you have to believe it to see. You have to see it to believe it, not hear it.
I do.
Okay, so hearing in a movie, I don't believe them. I got to see. Let me go watch the other movie to believe it, because I don't believe what the characters are saying that she died.
But that's what a phrase is. I got to see it to believe it.
I don't think it counts in movie world.
I just rode a horse to your house, I think you'd peek out the window.
I would, but I'm not making a movie about my life. This is a movie. If a character says they were dead in another movie, I'm going to tend to believe that.
You believe that?
I do believe it.
Okay.
So you should have, and you shouldn't be shocked that they died. I just wish Tara Reid died earlier.
But the fact that she died too, and the head fell in the water, and the whole. So we talk about it a little bit now because the end of the movie, I hated it. I really hated seeing 50,000 Tara Reids. Tara Reid, because they accidentally. So the somehow travel date device thing got wet. It broke. Sky goes to fix it because it's only Sky at this point. Because Peter Brady died too. I guess Doc and Peter Brady died because the only two people on that ship left were Sky and Finn.
How did they get off the boat?
Oh, they were on a little rowboat.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
But Doc wasn't on there. So
he wasn't.
Doc died.
Yeah. And you know what? Would have been better if Nova, there were 100 Novas at the end because she was so angry at Finn the whole time about the grandfather. Like that she was like the bad guy. To make Tara Reid the bad guy at the end of the movie made no sense.
But Nova lived in a way, so she died an older self. So at that age that she died, she really dies because she was still born at this point.
Where was did the little girl go on the raft too?
Yep.
So the minute she died in the water, wouldn't the little girl disappear?
No, because the little girl is already girl's younger than her, right? I don't know.
But Nova is from the future, so the little girl is in the past. So the fact that the future person that died as the future person should have wiped away everybody else.
No, because she'll live up to the point that she dies.
No, that's why, in Back to the Future, the pictures start deleting because they never got together. His parents, remember, they weren't getting back together, so slowly the pictures were deleting from the past.
Yeah, because that makes sense. Well, no, the pictures from '85 were deleted.
Correct. So they weren't around in the future.
Yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So if Nova dies as the future Nova,
an adult,
the kid should have. So you're telling me, it doesn't matter what the future people do as long as the past still stays alive. The future can still happen again.
That's what these time travel movies. That's why I hate them. But yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I think if one version of you dies, then all your versions die.
Wow, you just wanted to see a little kid die in a movie.
I want some reality. We're watching a movie about sharks flying around in a tornado. I want some kind of reality.
Bring me back to Earth. I want to feel something. But no, the fact that they need to get to 88 miles an hour again, Back to the Future, Finn hooks a shark. And just before this, Tara Reid, because the machine's all wet, she tries to go to 2013 because that's right around this movie came out. I think it was 2015 anyway. But they ride a shark. And there's no way in hell that the shark got to 88 miles an hour.
No. And okay, even if a shark could, not carrying a lifeboat with 4 people on it.
Yep.
And
then they go to 20,013, and there's a million terror. The world's kind of destroyed. It's really close.
So there's no humans. There's no humans anymore.
No, it's just the robots. It's
just the robots.
Tara Reid robots.
But somehow they were able to keep Tara Reid alive all this time.
In a Barbie container, right?
In a Barbie container.
Box?
Yeah. Okay. But she somehow wakes up also out of the blue.
At that time, just how does the Sharknado show up when Finn shows up?
Oh.
It's she sensed him.
This movie reaches all around, but this whole part, they really reached. They really did. This is just. Ugh.
And all this happened was the robot head was jealous that he didn't come back looking for her. That's the reason.
Because they have a relationship.
Yeah.
How does the robot have a body?
I thought it was going to detach or something. No, that made no sense either.
It's just
in a movie with, again, like you said,
it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
She should have been on some kind of thing, or should have had one of the or something. The fact that it looked like a normal body.
Okay. To me, it would have been like, I think she said like fisherman found her or something. She should be on like a big burly fisherman's body with the Tara Reid's head. Like, that would have been funny. I'm telling you, if we rewrite this movie, with their concept that they have, it's a 10 times better movie.
Well, you hear that, Sharknado 7.
The fan-made film.
The fan-made film. And then not even the gets up and walks. She's able to walk because wouldn't she have atrophy from sitting there for 20,000 years?
Well, it's the same thing we talk about with aliens and
Ripley,
everything else.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and Jason and all that stuff. But I mean, the fact that like nothing, like wouldn't she also like her last memory was getting eaten by a shark, and she's like acting normal, like she just wakes up like Snow White and just starts walking around.
Yeah. And the fact that you mentioned Ripley, and then the line that we get is, "Get away from him, you bitch."
Correct. And I'll tell you right now, and I know I was being hard on Tara Reid this whole movie, but I thought she did excellent acting when she was in the box and not talking.
And the Academy Award for Actress in a Coma in a daytime soap opera series that airs at 2 p.m. Like, yeah, no, she did nail it.
If she watches this, she's like, you know what? I'm never talking to Jamie again.
But no, that whole scene, I goes to like save Finn. But in Han Solo, she hits Han Solo.
She totally does. Oh my goodness, I wrote that down. Yeah, and then it's like Rambo after that. I mean, it's like nonstop.
And then what happens? He his head. Where's he got to go now? Now he has to go save this friggin' robot head. Okay,
all right. This whole part inside the Sharknado was just. Again, I at this point, I know the movie's almost over, and I'm thinking, like, it can't get worse. It just can't get worse. Like, I've seen so many bad scenes now. Like, they really can't top what I've already saw. No, they can. Him floating around the Sharknado, it was just so, like, stupid. It really was. I mean, outside of seeing Doc Brown and all that, like, it was fun. That, to me, that was a good cameo.
You saw funny. Doc Brown, you saw like Patrick Laborto. You couldn't really.
Yep.
They didn't give him a full zoom in, but he was Caesar.
Yep.
But we had LaToya Jackson, so he said like all the people through history, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I know. It was just the way it looked of him floating around. You see, it was bad. It was just, it was bad.
But how about just before that when you had Gil? When he says to his dad, he goes to say the line, like the Marine line, and he messes it up. That was his tell. He knew. He was actually somehow robot Tara Reid from the future.
That was able to disguise herself perfectly. Like, it is the same robot.
It is the same robot.
It's just so... But he kisses the robot again, right? So he's like does he have, like, first of all, why is there a robot of Tara Reid?
I don't know, but that's in 5, I guess.
And who made the robot?
That's in 4.
Oh my goodness. I really don't want to see another one. Like, I might have to like just read Wikipedia just to find out about the robot.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 explains some stuff, because I mean there's definitely a lot of holes in this.
Oh, there's a ton of holes. Hey, James Hong, the famous James Hong, that's the Asian old guy in every movie.
Yep.
He's in this. Yep. He's Kong.
Yep.
And then the Shad Gaspar, he was in WWF for years. He died, like, sad story. Like, he saved his son's life. His son got taken to a riptide. He saved his life. He just got honored at WrestleMania, like, for his family. But he plays Muhammad Ali in this scene. They show Muhammad Ali. Yeah, that was Shad Gaspar. So
wow.
yes, he was in Crime Time was the name of the tag team. But no, so then we get from there, April's robot head is now and shooting lasers. So her head is inside of a shark's mouth that's clenched down on it, which they just did that because it was easy.
Why would she make a shark? Like just like I mean, if anything that she could have like created to like use as a weapon, why a shark? There really is like I can't.
And what does she do next? Let's just end the movie quick. She goes, I have a fail-safe button. Either it saves time or destroys the world.
Why don't they use it? Why don't they use it all this time?
Why do they use it all the time? Or why would you design a button that could be really good or really bad?
Well, I don't think she's the one that designed it.
Whoever created her in 4, I guess, would design.
Well, we need to find out because maybe that person's, But if she had one that could save the world, what were they waiting for? And so she's good again. So she was completely bad in the future, wanted to kill everybody, and now like she wants to save everybody.
I know.
So she's a misunderstood robot.
She's misunderstood. Now I would love what you said, that she's at the end of the movie.
That would have been like you think it's Tara Reid, and then she turns her head and you see like her eyes like light up a little bit.
Twitch, yeah.
Or
light up.
Yeah. And see that would.
So the people at the bar is we have Mark McGrath.
He looks horrible. I'm sorry. Like, and he's a young guy. Like what? I don't know what he did. That's a lot of plastic.
You think he's a young guy? How old is he?
He's probably in his 40s. No, you think 50s?
I would say 50s, right? I don't know.
All right, go ahead. Who else is there?
Bo Derek looked great.
You know what? She looks good.
She
looked good.
And then she's with Gary Busey. And then at the same point, Sky, a commercial with Sky comes on. She's running for president. And then this is where Finn announced that he's moving to Kansas and he's going to start. Is this like lawnmower or tree trimming? I think tree trimming. Oh, because he's great with the chainsaws. Yeah. Okay.
Well, you know what? He was looking for a chainsaw in the beginning of the movie, so I guess he uses one in other scenes.
He does, and he uses it a little bit in that last.
Yeah, scene. He does a little Matrix style backwards when he leaned backwards and shot one up. Mark McGrath is 54.
Okay. So,
all right.
He's getting there.
He doesn't need this, that much plastic surgery, but all right. They must have added like a discount, for the people that are being in this movie. Like that was one of the perks of being in the movie. We'll get you like an hour of plastic surgery if you just do a cameo in this movie. Because with the budget being $2 million, they really can't afford everybody. But they know a good plastic surgery.
They know a good one. But then Finn does this little speech about the bar and thank you for everybody. Nova's there. She's working at the bar, and Brian's there. So everybody's there that we've seen throughout the movie.
Which they really don't explain how everybody's there at the bar.
They don't at all.
At all. Because, again, if Nova died in the 60s, she'd be dead.
Well, she died in the 90s.
Oh, 90s. Okay.
How do we know it's the 90s? The two kids were walking, and they were discussing the Spice Girls concert.
Oh, it's right.
And that's something else, yeah.
So she should be dead already. Then how could she? Like again, they don't explain how she's still alive.
They don't explain.
They don't explain anything. All right.
So here's the part of here's the biggest thing that you could tell they wanted to get done with this movie. Do you remember Gary Busey's line?
I don't.
So they talk about Finn goes into the speech. He talks about how we're gonna have a kid and April's pregnant and she goes. Oh. And Busey's line is your water broken? Which I get. It sounds like the water break. Or did your water break? But just the way it goes, is your water broken? They couldn't do another take, or they said that's a Busey line.
No, I would say that's a Busey line. I would, without a doubt, they probably did about 25 takes of that one line that he could not get right. That's my guess. And they just kept going over again. So yeah. No, you're right. This is definitely the best part of the movie because the credits are coming. So
was Last Sharknado. Maybe not. We'll write number 7. It'd be like final chapter, and then the next one's a new beginning. Last Sharknado, a new beginning. But yeah, Jamie,
no,
like this movie. Whoa,
no. Well, Dee Snider, without a doubt.
Yep.
So
you like Peter Brady?
Yes. No, again, like for the crap that they were thrown into, they did a decent job. I would not recommend this movie. I mean, I don't care if you like stupid movies. This movie is bad. This movie is so bad. The acting is bad. They're trying to make it worse. Knowing that they're in a bad movie, so they're trying to make a bad movie within a bad movie kind of thing. And I think that's what makes it worse. I think if again, I haven't seen the first Sharknado, but I imagine them acting like real, like listen, we're gonna make a movie. It's a bad movie. It's gonna be on Sci-Fi Channel, but we're gonna acting it, and that's what they did in the first movie. I bet. Now they're acting to act bad in a bad movie, and I think it's not worth watching without a doubt. It just doesn't make sense. So no, I think it could be a better movie with some of the tweaks we mentioned, like the end with Tara Reid and the robot.
Yep.
Having the guy change to someone else every single time he time travels. Like, you added little tweaks like that. I think now we got something. Have Gary Busey at the end is 100 Gary Buseys. I'm in. Imagine him at the end, 100 Gary Buseys, which would be hard to look at begin with. You have 100 of them. And then, but you have him just let him riff some lines. I think that would be hysterical because he's not going to nail anything. So yeah, and I know you're going to say yes, you have to watch it.
No, I'm going to say no. I would say there's clips on YouTube, like the movie clips that there's I couldn't even tell you there's one to watch. Maybe Do the Shark, listen and Do the Shark. But no, this is not. The only part I did like was Revolutionary War because I thought he was funny, and I liked Leslie Jordan. But
Yeah.
Dee Snider, that scene, I would go on YouTube, type in Dee Snider Last Sharknado because that's a good scene. He crushes it.
You would not know he's in a Sharknado movie. Even when the ridiculousness starts happening around him, he still acts like he's in a real movie.
Yeah.
So yeah. So okay.
So that's it. So then from for Sharknadoes to which has flying piranhas, but this is a James Cameron movie. It has Lance Henriksen. So there's people in the movie, and it also has our next guest, actress, singer Carole Davis, who I loved in Mannequin as Roxy, Flamingo Kid. She had a great story about a song that she wrote that Prince stole from her, which is a pretty epic story. And, she was great to talk to. Just her origin story and how she started acting because she really didn't want to act. And she has some cool opinions that were kind of funny about going to acting school, like Lee Strasberg. She has a great story about that. And so Piranha 2, man, that's going to be, it's something. It is a movie that this movie is totally campy, but when you see Piranha 2, it is very well shot because Cameron did it. And the budget as much as he could until he got fired for doing that.
Is it made to be a campy movie or is it made to be a horror movie?
It's made to be it's a very visually great shot movie.
Okay.
The stunt team on the movie and special effects just came off a Bond movie. So there's quality to the movie to an extent. But no, it's fun. It's definitely
okay. Because I've never seen it either. So this should be, listen, I can only go off from here. I mean, after seeing this movie, I don't think you could throw a movie in my way that I would say, you know what? At least it's not a Sharknado.
Mirror 4.
Oof. You know what? I almost would rather watch Talking Pony again than seeing this movie.
Oh, that's not bad. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.